This mutation is called Violent Night, and this is the Christmas mutation if the little background music was not already giving enough hints. So we do have Fenix and Zagara on this map, and one of the things about this mutation is there are two special mutators active. We have Naughty List and we have Gift Exchange. Gift Exchange is one of those mutators that requires you to be a little bit aggressive during the early stages of the game, which is why Zagara seems to be a relatively good commander for this. She has a really strong early game, and she has a very, very strong late game as well. So, mid game, sorry. And during the late game, like, her army does end up having to struggle with a little of the higher tech level units here, but if Zagara is able to clear the entire map, then it's not really too much of an issue. So Zagara is already starting to put down the spawning pool, and this is basically the standard build here for Zagara. We have a pylon down for Fenix, and we're going to see what the tech structure that Fenix wants to go for is. He's going to put down the forge first, which is interesting. Usually for Fenix, you'd either want to put down a gateway to get your Caldalis opening out, or you want to go for a robotics to get your Taldaran build out. But we have a forge and another pylon coming down for Fenix instead. So we'll see what Fenix wants to do here. Zagara is already putting down the Baneling's Nest and has already enough units. She's gonna have enough tech structures here to be able to handle the first gift that'll be spawning. Now, the one thing about this map and about this mutation is you really do not want to give Amon too many gifts. So basically the only gifts that Amon should be getting are the ones that he steals throughout this mission, because the effects that Amon can get from stealing these gifts are actually they're pretty strong. He can get an army of banelings, he can get some killbots. He can trigger a random mutator, which could be even more nasty. So as you can see here, we already do have the first set of gifts, and the banelings are making their way here to just try and spawn camping and try and get this gift. Let's see if they can try and intercept this attack wave in the meanwhile, because the gift has not spawned yet. But we do have an air Terran attack wave, which is going to give Zagara a little bit of some trouble here, because she doesn't really have her Scourge in herself. But the banelings are making their way here just to try, and one of the banelings does go down. The two banelings that are remaining there just will start working their way on Fenix's army. Unfortunately, Zagara cannot. Actually, these Zerglings are actually not attacking over here. Now they're starting to attack. But Zagara will probably want to try and make sure that that gift does not get captured by Amon, which has just happened right now. So Amon has gotten a bunch of hybrids here, and these hybrids are going to start attacking Zagara's expansion over here. So we do have a few enemy units also that have spawned on here, but Zagara is already out, and she'll be ready to deal with these hybrids as they have spawned. So over there, that was the mistake that was made. Zagara should have let that Viking be and just focus down the gift instead. But this area gets cleaned up. Zagara does end up losing a few of her units. She does lose like 6 of her Zerglings, but that's okay. The Zerglings are very, very cheap. But Zagara now has completely cleared this expansion, and she'll be ready to deal with the next phase of this mission. Now, the other gift now has spawned on that side, and Zagara really wants to try and get to that side there. But it looks like Fenix is going to go for it, and Fenix can solo defend that gift. Unfortunately, it is behind enemy lines, so he is going to be struggling a little bit to deal with it. So we'll have a look here at Fenix. He's going to start working his way here, and Zagara is just going to clean up this attack wave. A bunch of hunter killers come down just to take out that Banshee, and Fenix is now in position to take this gift out. Unfortunately, there are, as I said earlier, that there are enemy defenders behind this side, so he's probably going to want to have his Soul Ride Dragoon suit triggered here, just to be able to deal with the Battlecruiser and these units. But again, he's taking a lot of damage. I think there is a Dark Templar there. So Fenix does end up losing his suit here, and this might actually end up triggering the next gift spawn for Amon. So Fenix is out here, and he is going to try and claim it. Luckily for him that he has cleared that escort that was there to try and capture the gift. Zagara does spawn a bunch of hunter killers here just to draw some of the aggro away from Fenix. They really need to take that gift before Amon's units start capping it. And I think there is not enough units over here to draw an aggro Fenix. So over here we see that there is Vespian Rain for Fenix, and there is an Archangel now for Zagara. So that Archangel is actually pretty good. It's relatively tanky. Unfortunately, it cannot be repaired, I do not believe, by the drones that Zagara has, but Zagara is going to make her way here and try and cap this next gift. That Viking is still trying to take out that Archangel, but that Archangel now is ready to try and cap that gift whenever the gift starts to spawn. Zagara is ready here, has a bunch of banelings, and they need to get ready for this next attack wave and this shuttle spawn. So we do have a bunch of carriers here for Fenix, and a baneling barrage goes down and takes out a lot of those hybrids, and we have some hydralisks here as well. So these shuttles have basically stand no match for that, but I think they have forgotten that that gift is over there, and that gift may get capped by Amon if they are not paying attention. Oh nope, they know. So Fenix notices it and sends his carriers across here, but these carriers are still few and far between. So there's a little bit of micro. Just pull that carrier back, and down go the defenders of that gift. And there we go. You can see the Nihilist is being active on Fenix right now, so it means he'll be taking extra damage if from any enemy unit that attacks him. But that gift is going to be captured, and we'll see what happens there. So we have a naughty list clear for Fenix, and we have another Archangel for Zagara. So Zagara is now sitting on 2 Archangels, which is kind of amusing, and actually very lucky on Fenix's part. That means his Nihilist is not going to be taking he's not going to be taking any damage from Nihilist. Zagara, on the other hand, it has that Nihilist buff, and she's going to be taking an insane amount of damage. The next shuttle spawn has been created there, and they will be working towards the right-hand warp conduit. A gift has spawned right next to Zagara, so that's very convenient, and she now has 2 Archangels. So these Archangels are going to be going towards that warp conduit, I think. Nope, they changed their mind, and they want to try and cap this next gift here. Zagara is glowing red from that Nihilist debuff, so you can see the amount of damage they start to deal, and this attack wave is probably going to end up wiping Zagara out. Gets microed back a little bit, a bunch of Hunter Killers come out, and a Roach drop at the last minute because Zagara was going down, so they are going to be able to hold this side. There is a bunker here that is attacking this science vessel, so we'll see if anyone is able to go and deal with that. Fenix does come out here to take that part out. There are a bunch of Banshees here that are wailing on these Roaches. Roaches can't attack air, unfortunately, so they do end up going down here. But that gift has been essentially free now for the players to pick up. They're just trying to focus fire down these bonus objective, the main objective here. So we have 2 Archangels on this side, and they just end up focus firing down this shuttle, and the shuttle goes down. There is an Overseer that has been moved over just to try and cap this bonus, and the bonus objective actually ends up surviving. So we have a Mule party and a Mule party. So we have double Mule parties on this side. You can see there's a Dancing Oracle at the top, and a bunch of mules with little Santa hats that have been created, and they will be mining extra resources. So this is okay for the commanders. And now they have to go and deal with the next attack wave that's coming up. This hybrid also has a Santa hat because he is celebrating the miracle of Christmas and Amon's thievery, as they go ahead and try and steal some gifts for Amon. The Solarite Dragoon suit goes down, and there is another structure over here that is in construction, and I'm actually not sure what that structure is. This is another Nexus, which is interesting. I do not know why Fenix is going for another Nexus, but he does have a number of carriers here now, and basically he's trying to focus fire down these Vikings. Or not. He's going for the hybrids first, despite the fact that the Vikings are killing them with stuff, but that's okay. Amon is stealing this gift, and now he has Hidden Threats activated. So Hidden Threats basically mean Widow Mines, and I think Burrowed Banelings are hidden around the map, and that can cause a very, very nasty amount of damage. So you can see there's a Widow Mine over there with there, and Zagara notices that, ends up taking it out with a bunch of banelings on that side. So you're going to need a lot of detection on the side. Stasis wards, and there is another bunch of Widow Mines here that end up going down, and a bunch of Burrowed Banelings as well. Again, Zagara is just cleaning up this side just to make sure she doesn't end up getting smoked accidentally. Same thing goes here as well. It's spread all around the map, unfortunately, so Fenix will have to be a little bit careful with moving his army around and Fortunately for him, he does have an air army, which means the burrowed banelings are not going to have that much of an impact. But you know, because he's going for a mass carrier build, the wheel mines are going to be also kind of okay. But Fenix does have detection, I think. Yeah, he does have detection, so he's going to be able to clean up with his army of carriers here. How many carriers does he have so far? He's going at about 12 carriers here. That is a good amount of DPS now, and he's going to be focusing down this shuttle wave. There is another gift spawn that's coming up here and an attack wave, so we're going to take a look at the attack wave first because this is a little bit closer. Fenix is going to be just taking out these hybrids with the attack wave while Zagara pushes on and tries to capture this next gift. Fenix is holding down the fort relatively well here, and there is a gift spawn over here, and Zagara has essentially cleared out this this side here. There is a hybrid here that has spawned to try and cap this gift, but this hybrid will go down relatively quickly. Zagara is starting to make some Scourge as well. Does she have the simplified genome upgrade? Yes, she does have the simplified genome upgrade, so her Scourge are going to be really cheap now, and Zagara will try and just ramp up her economy and ramp up the production here. Only 2 hatcheries here for Zagara. Usually you want to go for a 4 hatchery build. Unfortunately, Fenix gets a scout, which is kind of funny. But Zagara has a 3rd Archangel now, which is extremely amusing. So Zagara has 3 Archangels, which is way more than enough anti-air DPS. One of the other things to also note is that Zagara is supply capped very quickly, so because of these Archangels. Kind of feel bad for Fenix. Fenix definitely got the short end of the stick there. He got a free scout, which is completely useless because he can make scouts by himself. But Zagara is over here chilling with a little troll face because she now has 3 Archangels. And these Archangels are pretty solid units as well. They 1500 HP, and they have 2 kinds of attacks here. A standard air attack, which deals 12 damage, weapon speed of 3, and a minigun attack with 24 damage over 0.2. That's a lot of DPS there. Zagara Scourge, as you can see, has no problems dealing with this. He surprisingly turned around there and decided to go back and just take out some of these Vikings, and then just try and get focus fight down on these shuttles. So most of these shuttles have gone down, and the Archangels on this side just to try and defend this bonus objective here. Another gift has spawned, and there is a stasis ward that does cause a little bit of a problem for Zagara, but that's going down. There's another attack wave now on here, and Zagara just moves the army into these hybrid dominator, ends up destroying that. Zagara gets a queen, and there's a Vespene Rain for Fenix from that gift. I think Zagara got the shorter end of the stick on that one. I think the queen is somewhere over here. I can actually see the queen. There's the queen. So this queen is also taking up supply, and Zagara uses the... So Zagara, what Zagara has done here, just move that queen over, just pick up that Vespene Raindrop, and is using that to... is using that queen to just add some more... inject some larva there. Some Banshees are cloaked on this side, but Zagara's army needs to be rebuilt, and... Oh no, there's the queen. There's the Brood Queen. I can see what Zagara is doing now. This has been a long time since I played this game, so this was the time where I was actually using queens to set up my economy, and I basically would use my queens to inject larvae instead of building extra hives or hatcheries. Sorry. As you can see there, I'm flowing 9,000 minerals, so this is why I start just putting down 3 or 4 more hatcheries, because that can supply my production, and I save out on the resource cost of the queen over there. So Amon is going to be stealing that gift, which is going to be very unpleasant. That Brood Queen is not very good. So that is very unfortunate for Zagara. So we have a temporary mutator that gets added to this, and it is Transmutation. And we have Fenix with a mass carrier build here, which is not very good, because that is just going to trigger Transmutation like no one's business. And yeah, as you can see over there, we already have 4 major hybrids that have spawned, and that is not going to end anytime soon. Every single time one of these interceptors get taken out, Transmutation will proc and will level up a unit. So this is going to be a very, very bad day for Fenix and for the commanders. There is a bunch of Banshees over here. They're just slightly out of detection range, but they do end up walking in detection here and end up being taken out. So that Transmutation mutator is going to be really, really nasty.
Our forces are under attack.
But Zagara still has her 3 Archangels and her beloved Brood Queen over here. And that Brood Queen is going to be the MVP of this mission, because it does a lot of DPS. It is by far the scariest unit in the game, as anyone will tell you. But overall, there is now another gift that has spawned on this side, so the commanders will make their way towards that. So I think Fenix is he's relatively in position here, and you can see why transmutation is really. This is why carriers is not a good idea when you're playing up against transmutation or any kind of random mutator. You get transmutation active, and you can get wrecked really quickly. Again, I think Fenix kind of got lucky over here. Those units turned into hybrid behemoths. And these hybrids can't actually attack air units. If these things were hybrid dominators, I think Fenix would be having a significantly harder time. But he is going to be capping this gift, and we'll see what the next gift that comes up is. So Fenix gets a clear on his Nihilist, and Zagara gets a clear on her Nihilist as well. So that's actually really good for both these players. Unfortunately, Zagara is not going to get that much benefit out of it because her units are temporary. They are suicide units, so Banelings and Scourge. So she's not really going to be benefiting very much from this player. But because Fenix is going for a really expensive carrier build, and these carriers, you want to keep them alive as much as possible. Clearing that Nihilist is going to be really good. Seeker Missile goes down on one of the Overseers, takes out the Overseer, and there is another gift that has spawned on this side, and the Shuttle Wave is starting to make its way towards that Warp Conduit. One of those carriers ends up going down as a result of the transmutation, because there are a ton of battle cruisers that are dealing a lot of damage. The shuttles do end up getting taken out by Zagara. Scourge on the side there, I was not really paying attention. And now the commanders are going to be working towards the next gift here. As you can see, there is a hybrid dominator over there, but the Scourge ends up cleaning up the air wave, the air attack, most of the air attack wave here. And Fenix comes in, just ends up focus firing down that hybrid dominator with his carriers. So overall, so Fenix has actually lost 11 carriers in the process. I thought that was the first carrier he ended up losing. Zagara has lost one of the Archangels, which was kind of not surprising because the amount of damage ends up building up really, really quickly. Let's see what the gift gets. Carrier becomes an Avenger, and Zagara gets a 4th Archangel, which is also very amusing. So Zagara has had 4 Archangels, has a total of 3 right now. This carrier is an Avenger carrier, so this is a max stacked Avenger carrier there, which is really, really massive, and it will be doing a lot of damage over there. This carrier has it has a 300 shield, 600 HP, and yeah, you can see there it is just an absolute tank, and yeah, really large model over there. This is a 10-stack Avenger carrier here. Zagara does have the 3 Archangels. She's had 4 Archangels in total this game. Sends her army towards this side here, and a bunch of Scourge just instantly deal a lot of damage to the air units, and leaving these shuttles exposed, and these shuttles end up going down. Another bunch of Scourge get run into these battlecruisers. Again, these battlecruisers end up melting to the damage the Scourge have. There is a bunch of Banshees on this side, but Zagara doesn't really care. She wants to go and get this next shuttle wave. There is a kill bot, which needs a 50 kill counting in order to get that. One of these Archangels ends up going down, but again, Zagara is not really interested. Drops a bunch of Banelings and a Roach drop just to draw aggro away from and just separate these shuttles so that the cannons can take out the shuttles while these things are aggro to these ground units over there. And that seems to work. And there's a bunch of Scourge now that end up cleaning up this side. And that is the last shuttle wave that has spawned, and all the shuttles have been destroyed, and that is GG.